Next up, we got the controversial case of Saquon Barkley for MVP. Now, me personally, I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs and Sonic and Knuckles, I feel like they should get MVP as a duo. To be honest. All right. Now, Saquon, yes, he has been literally carrying the Eagles. All right. A lot of y'all Eagles fans want to talk crazy to the Lions, talking about we not going to beat y'all. But don't y'all realize that y'all only have one player? Maybe two. You know what I'm saying? Maybe two, bro. So, we going to see, all right? Does Saquon, let me know in the comments, does Saquon deserve MVP?
MVP right now. We're so busy giving the MVP to quarterbacks. Do people understand the greatness that we're seeing from Saquon Barkley right now?
Saquon Barkley is the most valuable player of the National Football League in 2024. He is in the pole position right now.
He's not a Pro Bowler this year. He's first team All-Pro. He's Offensive Player of the Year. He might strike MVP. He's on pace to break every record. If he does that, he has no choice but to be MVP.
With just 4 games left in the NFL season, Saquon Barkley finds himself chasing down history. Through his first 13 games, Barkley has put up a stunning 1,623 yards on the ground, putting him on pace to break the all-time rushing yardage record set by Eric Dickerson 40 years ago. And now, yes, we've talked a lot about Saquon on this channel throughout his incredible year, and now we have to have a real discussion about whether or not he is the real MVP. Like, I mean, fresh off the 117 showing against Derrick Henry's Ravens, and then to go back and put up 124 yards against the Panthers, there has never been a better time to go through exactly what sets him apart in the race and make the case for Saquon Barkley as the MVP. Now, first things first, we have to talk about the absolute tear that Saquon has been on since week 1 in Brazil. In his first game as an Eagle, he put up 132 scrimmage yards and 3 touchdowns, showing the entire world exactly what he's capable of when he's not stuck on a terrible New York Giants offense. I mean, pretty much since that game, there has been no stopping this dude whatsoever. Barkley has played 12 games this year and put up at least 110 scrimmage yards in 10 of them. The dude is a 60-minute threat in this league, and while he's a serious weapon on the ground, he also does a lot of damage through the air. Like, I mean, every single week, this dude is a huge part of the Eagles offense.
The only part.
Not only that, but he set a standard that no one, not even Derrick Henry in this league, can match up to. And I mean, what makes his case even stronger though is just how good he is in the fourth quarter. He only gets better as the game goes on, delivering clutch plays week in, week out in the closing stages of the game. And don't get me wrong, because for 30 years old, Derrick Henry has had himself a phenomenal year also. Like, I mean, even at one point, he was in the MVP debate as well. But in the last few weeks, Saquon has just completely broken away from just Derrick Henry and the numbers that he has been putting up week in and week out. Not only that too, but I mean, the numbers just back it up and just prove that Saquon Barkley is by far the best running back in the league this year. Like, despite having played a game less, Barkley still leads Derrick Henry 1,623 to 1,407 in rushing yards, 1,890 to 1,532 in scrimmage yards, and 6.1 to 5.9 in yards per carry. The only major statistic that Henry does hold a narrow lead on is in total touchdowns, which he leads 15 to 13, but I mean, honestly, the main reason for this is the Eagles' tendency to not give Barkley the ball at the 1-yard line. This season, Barkley's quarterback Jalen Hurts has finished 8 drives with a 1-yard rush instead of giving the ball to his superstar running back. I mean, honestly, Barkley doesn't seem to be too fazed by this at all and seems more interested in winning football games by any means possible. But I mean, still,
I forgot they do. Dang, yeah. Saquon could literally be scoring every time they get into the red zone. But, you know, the Eagles invented the Diddy push. So, whenever it's a time to use the Diddy push, they gonna use it. Anytime. Y'all is like in love with the Diddy push now. And it's now crazy because now y'all are influencing the whole league to use the Diddy push. Come on, bro.
Coordinator Kellen Moore's play calling was slightly different. You'd imagine that Barkley would be the total touchdown leader as well. So it's safe to say that after displaying all those facts about just comparing him to Derrick Henry, he is by far and away the best running back in the league. But that begs the next question.
Also, too,
answer is that
he does sub on K-Risk Productions. You know what I'm saying? I got you, boy. Hit that sub
Is
button.
that enough to win MVP? Well, it's been 12 seasons since a non-quarterback won the award, as the award has become dominated by elite signal callers as the NFL has trended towards being a more friendly passing league. However, in the 12 years between 2000 to 2012, there were 4 different running backs that won the award, and let's see if any of you can go down in the comment section, pause the video, and let's see if any of you can name it, because I highly doubt any of you can name all 4. Okay, I'm going to reveal them right now. Marshall Faulk, Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson, and most recently, Adrian Peterson. All 4 of these men had incredible individual seasons which saw them propel their teams to the playoffs and in some cases beyond. Marshall Faulk led the league with 18 touchdowns in 2000 and helped lead the greatest show on turf Rams to a 10-6 record despite having the league's very worst defense. Then we have Sean Alexander, who dragged the Seahawks to their first Super Bowl in franchise history on the back of a league record 28 touchdowns and 1,958 scrimmage yards in 2005. LaDainian Tomlinson then broke that touchdown record the following year with 31 and put up a ridiculous 2,323 scrimmage yards, helping guide the San Diego Chargers to a league best offense and a 14-2 record. Finally, you have Adrian Peterson, who was famously just 9 yards short of Eric Dickerson's rushing record in 2012, hauling the league's second worst passing offense to a 10-6 record and an unlikely playoff berth. Right now, we are in the longest streak in league history without a running back winning the award, which speaks to the era of quarterbacks that we currently live in, as well as how the game has shifted this way due to various rule changes, also protecting the quarterback and changes to offensive schemes to suit the passing game. Like, I mean, honestly, in the 12
So do you
years,
think that the quarterback's really getting bailed out? Because you really can't even touch a quarterback without going to jail damn near. You even lay a finger, even breathe on a quarterback, and you're getting kicked out, fined for all your salary, and going to jail. And you catching a felony for aggravated assault. So maybe I ain't gonna lie. That's tough.
Since Adrian Peterson has won the MVP award, it really has been nearly impossible for running backs to even get looked at to try to win the MVP award. I mean, like, let's take, for example, last season, if we flash back to it. Christian McCaffrey put up over 2,000 scrimmage yards and 21 total touchdowns, only to finish a distant third in MVP voting behind Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott. Or even take the last time that a running back cracked 2,000 yards in a season. That's when Derrick Henry in 2020 was still on the Titans and had a monster year, scored 17 touchdowns, and put the Titans on his back, taking them to an unlikely 1 seed. And yet, as crazy as it sounds, he didn't receive one single MVP vote. Instead, Aaron Rodgers cruised to the award with an admittedly incredible 48-5 touchdown to interception ratio with a 4,299 passing yard season. I mean, in fact, as crazy as it sounds, the best performance that's come from a running back since 2012 was in 2017 when Todd Gurley had a monster year. Gurley put up 2,093 scrimmage yards and 19 touchdowns that year, going on to receive 8 of the 50 first place votes, falling way short of Tom Brady, who won his 3rd and final MVP that year. Like, I mean, these examples that I am presenting to you honestly are just proving to my point how hard it is for a running back to even come close to winning the MVP award in 2024. Like, by all accounts, it would take a record-breaking and not only that, but a phenomenal year from a running back to snap this 12-year streak. However, Saquon Barkley is having one of those seasons and is putting the league on absolute notice right now. As we said at the opening of this video, Barkley is currently on pace to have the all-time greatest single-season rushing performance in the history of pro football. At his current pace of 124.9 yards a game, he'd reach a total of 2,124 on the season, breaking a 4-decade-old record in the process. And now, yes, many have pointed to the fact that, you know, there's 17 games in the season now that Saquon Barkley does get to play, as opposed to when Eric Dickerson was in the league in 1984, there was only 16 games, so it's kind of give or take there. But at the same time,
one game don't matter,
have to beg the question of, like, would he have still been able to do this in 16 games? And honestly, I would argue yes. Like, yes, you can make that argument that there are more games in the season, but there's no denying that breaking this long-standing record that's been standing for 40 years now, 40 years, like, that has to mean something in MVP voting. Like, as of right now, and I might be off a little bit on these numbers because I think I might have done the math a little bit wrong considering that they just played the Panthers, he's about 606 yards short of Dickerson's total. And honestly, it's not hard to imagine that he could get that in the next 4 games alone, starting with a great game against the Panthers, But the award isn't all about individual stats, of course. It's the most valuable player for a reason. So now that really brings us to the next question that we have to answer, which is how valuable has Saquon Barkley really been to the Eagles' 10-2 start this season? And well, that probably can be best answered by looking at how Philly finished last year. If we flash back about 12 months ago, the Eagles were sitting pretty at 10-1, looking well placed to reach the Super Bowl for a second straight year. However, they dropped 6 of their last 7 games, a run in which the team as a whole averaged 109.4 rushing yards a game. This year, Barkley alone is averaging 124.9 yards per game as he sets the tone every week for this team. Like last year's Eagles were one of the league's better units on the ground, ranking 8th in rushing yards with 2,190. This season, they've already beaten that figure with 5 games to spare with 2,267, and they currently lead the league in rushing yards per game, edging out Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry's Ravens. Are you looking for a new book this football season? BetUS is the answer for $1 for them, but the dude is contributing so much to them right now. Like, listen to this. He is responsible for 37% of the team's scrimmage yards. Let me put that into perspective for you. That's more than A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert all combined. Like, that's insane. And
that's what I'm saying, bro. He's literally carrying, bro. I don't want to hear nobody in the comments talking about he's not carrying. He's literally carrying, bro. Literally carrying. All right? No one else is doing anything else. All right, A.J. Brown might get the ball a couple times. I don't know where Smith at. Okay, Yogurt might get the ball maybe once or twice. Then Jalen Hurts might run by himself a couple times. That's your whole offense, bro. Literally. Saquon is the live and die for Saquon.
Want to reference, or at least let me put that into perspective for you right now. Derrick Henry is responsible for 27% of the Ravens offense. Like, that just shows how much more pivotal Saquon Barkley is to the Eagles than Derrick Henry even is to the Ravens. Like, I mean, there is no doubt that Saquon Barkley has had a substantial mark on this team this year and has completely flipped the script from what they looked like last year in January. Like, of all the main playmakers on this offense, Barkley is the only one who wasn't on the roster in 2023, which sums up the impact that one man can have on an offense. With 4 games left here, the Eagles' 2 big challenges are against Pittsburgh and Washington, with the second of those games likely being the game in which the Eagles reclaim the NFC East title. If Barkley can lead the Eagles past those 2 and rack up victories against the Panthers, Giants, and Cowboys, that would take the Eagles to 13 straight wins in the first 15-win season in franchise history. And if that happens, they might even get the 1 seed in the NFC. If Barkley can be a major part of driving the team to a season like that, then there's absolutely no doubt that he has to be a front runner for this award. At this point in the season, however, though, Barkley is the second favorite for the award according to Vegas. The one ahead of him with odds better is Josh Allen, who is trying to lift his first career MVP and is honestly just turning the Bills into a juggernaut right now. But even then, in the eyes of the odds makers, Barkley is a more valuable player to his squad than Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, or any other quarterback you can name, which is just truly remarkable really for a running back in this day and age. But in order to win this award and overtake Allen, he really does need to break that record to win the award in February. And I mean, look, to be fair to Allen, he is just having a career year, and honestly is just why the Bills look so good right now. So even if Saquon doesn't win this award, I mean, Josh Allen has just been playing out of his mind right now. Like, I mean, this season he has a total of 26 touchdowns.
Let me know in the comments who y'all think gonna get it, Josh Allen or Saquon.
Recorded just 5 interceptions, which has been a problem for him so often in the earlier part of his career. Like, I mean, 2 weeks ago on Sunday Night Football against the 49ers, he and his Bills put on an absolute clinic, with Allen recording a passer rating of 141.3 in that game that was completely over by halftime. In the Bills' previous game, Allen made his big MVP statement moment with a game-clinching touchdown run against Kansas City on 4th down, which ended the Chiefs' hopes of an undefeated season. I mean, crucially, really, Allen has hit these new heights despite losing his #1 wide receiver in Stephon Diggs, who was traded to the Texans in the offseason. Allen's really managed to lead the league's second best scoring offense despite not really having a true #1 wide receiver, which helps add to the perceived value that he does bring to the team. Like, I mean, this isn't really a truly stacked Bills offense that's currently sitting at 10-2, and it really says a lot about Allen that they are looking like real contenders to win their first title in team history. You want to hear something even crazier though? Josh Allen's not even the best quarterback this year. The Cincinnati Bengals are sitting here pretty much just showing how important team record is to an MVP player's bid. I mean, just ask Joe Burrow, who's been fantastic all year with 30 touchdowns and probably more after the Monday night game and a passer rating of about 107.4, but with his Bengals sitting at a 5-8 record that pretty much rules him out of contention at all. I mean, hell, even Lamar Jackson, who was favored for this award just a month ago before the Ravens dropped 3 games to the Browns, Steelers, and of course the Eagles, which has knocked him out of contention for the time being with his team at 5-8. Like, I mean, it's not impossible that the same could happen to Allen in the next 5 weeks, and anyone who's betting on Saquon at plus 350 right now will be hoping for a shock loss to the Jets or the Patriots to put a dent in Allen's case for MVP. But from where we're sitting right now, Barkley's MVP case looks pretty solid as we enter the business end of the NFL season. He's putting up historic numbers and is the core factor in the team's improvement from last year. Like, I mean, the dude is just a threat in so many different ways on this offense every single week. And not only that too, but his team is a serious contender for a deep playoff run. This MVP race is far from over, and in the next 4 games, Josh Allen could very well be absolutely lights out and cement the award for himself. Nevertheless though, there's no denying that Saquon Barkley would be an extremely worthy winner. For a non-quarterback to win this award, it really will take something special, but Barkley absolutely slots into that category for this 2024 season. And even
let's be honest, Saquon is going crazy. You know what I'm saying? I give it to him. I do feel like Saquon does deserve it. You know what I'm saying? I'll say it is Saquon, Josh Allen, and Jared Goff. All right? Just off the simple fact that them 3 needs and deserves an MVP, bro. No cap. You know what I'm saying? If you already got an MVP, bro, then just step aside. You know what I'm saying? You already got one, bro. Calm down. All right, they trying to get their first. You feel me? Hey.